So, career is a word we listen quite often. Do you think that there is an age when one can change their career, or is there a limit when?
I think there's never a specific age and never a perfect time to change a career. I think people change their careers when they feel that their present job or career is not right for them anymore. Maybe not they're not happy in it, or maybe it doesn't fit their life at the moment. So I don't think there's a specific age, and I hope that people don't give up because of their age. Basically, I guess.
And I think nowadays we're more open to
Oh,
changing our careers as well. Like I remember, for example, my parents' age, and they would get a job when they're young, and they stay in that job forever, basically, until they retire.
true.
Nowadays, I don't think most of us imagine us doing the same job for a long number of years. So even if, say, you change, for example, the company, but not with the same
Or the position at
or the
least, that is
position.
move laterally or upward. Yeah, I think we our parents maybe or no, the older generation are a bit more thinking about having a job for life. We don't think about that anymore. Well, some people do, and they believe that if they go into a specific career it's forever, but sometimes there is a need to change as well, so why not?
Yeah.
But I think we have to think about it first. It's not
Yes.
something so easily done, especially when you're a little bit older. When you're 16, 17, changing jobs is easier than when you're 30, 40, 50, because you have many other responsibilities, I guess.
And I think when it comes to career change, one of the things we have to consider is the commitments that you have. So, for example, you have a loan, then before quitting your job and deciding later what you're going to do, you need to have a backup.
I think the first thing we need to think about is planning ahead, not just taking action immediately and acting on our emotions. As we said, you have responsibilities, you have a family, or maybe you have other commitments. So it's a good idea to start thinking, maybe for a career change, but having maybe a stable something stable, it might be a job or some form of income, is helpful because you can plan, but at the same time knowing that there's some form of income coming in. We have to also think about the people around us. We know we have to think about our life and the life of those who are being affected by this as well, I guess.
So, kind of, let's say you're taking a higher position and you know that you'll be spending more time at work. That will obviously be affecting those around you. So, if you're in a relationship or you have children, how will that affect the family life then? So, we talk a lot about work life balance.
And it's very
And
important,
yeah.
and it's very important. And I believe also you have to think about yourself, apart from the people around you. Why do you want to change? Is it just because you're unhappy and it's a phase? Is it because maybe you have some issues with some colleagues? Because the reason behind the career change are varied, but is it a big enough issue to move away and change drastically? Some people change their careers drastically. So they don't just shift companies or areas, but they shift total careers. They start all over again. And that's even more important decision to make. So I guess we need to reflect a lot about it.
And I think we need to make this distinction between a career change and maybe like
job
a
change.
job change.
Yes.
Because I
The
think they're
word career
different.
and job is something you go in, you go for employment. It's a 9 to 5 thing, and you forget about it. But a career is your whole life. A career affects your personal satisfaction as well, your family, and everything around you. A career is part of your life, not just something you do for money. And so that's why I believe you need to think about it well, because it might mean you need to study further, or might need to focus on certain skills more. That means more work, more challenges in a way.
Because as we're saying, if you're changing completely the line of work that you're doing, most probably you'll need to do some more studying.
Probably yes, and
Because
that is why we need a lot of thinking and reflecting, because some people are not even aware of what possibilities are available, and there's a lot available. And usually when we're at an older age, we fear these new challenges, and it's normal. Change is always difficult for everybody, and starting to study again or starting to do something new is never easy. And because of the other commitments we have, that is another thing we have to think about. So I guess
And I think there might be also the fear that what if I regret the change? So if you've, taken a big commitment, say for example you're studying again, you're starting to learn from scratch something new, and then some time passes and realize that you miss what you had, for example, and then you regret, having to make these all new changes in your life, and then it might be a bit too late to go back to your old job, for example. So
I agree totally, and that is why I believe you need to do your research well. Like the career, are you happy to move into this new career? Is it just something, an emotional thing we're going through? Is it just something I want to leave now? Because knowing about the new career path is also another very important thing. We need to think about, is it just what we're seeing, is it just the beautiful thing, the beautiful side? Because we have to think of all the pros and cons of staying where we're at and moving where we want to go. So homework, a lot of homework, and thinking and reflecting. And I guess the more you research yourself and the employment scene, then the more you are prepared, I guess, for this change.
but also, I think speaking to someone who is knowledgeable about, these things and being able to seek guidance. So, for example, there might be something about your job which is bothering you, and realize that maybe if you change something within the area in itself, then you still have the change, but you haven't completely changed your career, for example. So, I think being able to ask for guidance is important as well.
It's a very important step, and many people are fearful of this step because usually they don't like talking about this thing. Some people are a bit uncomfortable even talking to friends and family, let alone somebody else to guide them. So I agree with you there. Sometimes we need some guidance, especially if it's something we don't know about, or maybe some information we are unaware of, because usually we only think in our bubble, and it's good to look ahead. And I agree with you with asking for help, because we tend not to ask for help most of the time.
Because I think, as you were saying before as well, sometimes you might not even be aware of certain jobs that are available out there. I think the market is changing a lot,
time,
and
all
there
the
are new
time.
opportunities that when I was younger, when I was studying, I didn't even know existed.
Yes. Everything is changing so quickly, so we have to be open to new opportunities and new careers we hadn't even thought about. So it's true. It's true. So that's why the research comes in and the help from professionals comes in, because you can get a clearer picture of what is out there. And I think the most difficult step of them all is actually taking action, then doing what needs to be done, is actually leaving into this new direction. I think that is the hardest of them all, because sometimes we're in this uncomfortable position, but that's what we know, and then leaving it is not so easy. So
I think we might also fear failure, So,
everybody fears failure.
yes.
I think everybody does, and I think even if we feel like we're unhappy, we might just prefer to stay there. But it's the final step after all. After all, what we mentioned, I guess, the research, the knowing oneself, then it's the actual step to take. Always, but keeping in mind that you've done all you need to do and weigh all your pros and cons, I guess.
So I think to conclude, kind of, we've mentioned a lot of different things. But mainly I think it's if you can be stable before making that shift, it will help
agree
you,
that it's
because
so
you are
important.
kind of minimizing the risks as well that you're taking. And in the end, doing the research is very important.
Not researching oneself, researching the employment scene as well.
And finally, taking action.
Obviously. Yes.